Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've done an Instagram live. I'm actually about to do an interview with a lovely lady called Angela Rojas. She's actually organized this event called Protecting the Innocence of Children. This goes a bit into the classification of LGBT books, how they're ending up in schools, libraries, and so we're doing a live event, actually an in-person event rather, in South Australia, in Adelaide, next Thursday, so Thursday the 24th of April, and at 7 p.m. we will actually be kicking that off, and the show will start. We've got a bunch of people coming and speaking, subject matter experts, including Rachel Reed, Angela Rojas, who I'm about to bring on, Sarah Game, she's a member for the upper house of South Australia's state parliament for One Nation, and Senator Ralph Babbitt, who's the federal senator for the former United Australia Party for Victoria. So without further ado, I'm going to interview Angela, ask her a bit about what the event is about. Tickets are online, and if you click the link in my bio, they're only $15. We want to stack this place out. This is about information, getting it out there, getting it to parents so they can protect their families. So without further ado, let me see if Angela's shot me a request on here, and let's try and get her in. So part of this event, we've been getting a lot of requests about some of our interviews we've done in the past. I interviewed Angela back in 2023. I was in South Australia. We talked about the classification of books, how a lot of these books are coming into being, and how we're seeing them actually on access. A lot of kids have access to them. What is that having? What effect is that having on the mind of the child? And how is this going to affect their sexuality going forward? And so, without further ado, I'm going to just invite Angela now to come in, hoping that she sees this relatively soon. Where are you, Angela? This is what makes Instagram lives a little bit tough. It's getting. You know what's crazy about Instagram lives? I noticed that this account and the Turning Point account are being so throttled. What's happening is when we go live, you guys don't even see it. You don't even, most people don't actually get a notification. I remember back when we used to do a lot of lives, we were getting something like 8,000 live viewers, which is insane. In fact, it's more than some Sky News Australia hosts can do on their Instagrams. And but no, we've been heavily throttled since the end of 2021. They basically manually have been throttling us and unable to actually to do it. So I would suspect that Angela, unless she goes to my page, she won't even see that I'm live, which is insane. Um, where are you, Angela? There you go. Shot you an invite. Let's try and get her in. She is a subject matter expert. Specifically speaking, she is a certified classifier. There you are.
Hi, Daniel, can you hear me? Oh, let me turn my camera around.
Yeah, that helps. Hey, Angela,
I thought,
thanks for jumping on. Thanks for jumping on. I wanted to give everyone a short and sweet taster without giving them a full insight to what's actually going on with the event next Thursday. I've told them where they can get tickets, who the speakers are, and obviously, yeah, I want to get this out across all platforms so people can see that the event's on. But this isn't the first time we've appeared on camera together. We did a great interview
sorry.
in South Australia together, and you're a wealth of knowledge on the classification of books, these LGBT books. So tell me, why did you approach me and say, I want to do this event, and what is it that's sort of motivating you with this?
We need to bring awareness, firstly, to parents and caregivers and what's happening in schools, not just across South Australia, but across Australia. some people might be aware of what's going on with the education, the hyper-sexualization of children, and the ideologies which are being brought into our schools, and the activism and everything. But they probably don't realize how graphic it is or how intense it is. And it's quite full on. And there's real concerns. Since I've done the interview with you, it's been over a year now. I've been talking at different events and meeting at different people, having different conversations, parents, caregivers, and teachers. And lots of people are sharing their personal stories. And there's incidences where people, children are sexually assaulting other children. And it's not just high school, it's primary school. There are teachers who are being sexually harassed. And, I think it's to do with the hyper-sexualized content. And then there's things happening in schools where teachers are affirming, gender and everything like that. What people don't realize, they're not, these educators, they're not doctors. They shouldn't even be affirming or socially transitioning. And they're doing it without the parent knowledge or consent in some cases, and socially transitioning. And I don't know if you saw last night, it came through in Scotland. I think the BCC reported that they declared in a court case, they won a court case of biological truth, where they defined male and female, which is a huge, massive win on that front. So, why? And then you had the CAS review last year. Australia seems to be behind everywhere else with the biological truth, with the gender transitioning. There's so much harm being done to our children, emotionally, socially, physically, especially if they're transitioning, and so much confusion. And we just need to help educate parents so they can understand what's going on. And then you've got the hyper-sexualized content, like a curriculum, where children are learning how to be pleasurable lovers and learning about fetishes and all that sort of thing.
It's disgusting, and this is the thing, Angela. We're seeing this around the country. It's basically an epidemic. Not far from where I grew up, there was a story about young men, young men, like we're talking preschool, basically, or year 1, year 2, sexually assaulting a girl, 5 boys on a girl. And these are terrible stories. It is happening. This is obviously very graphic discussion. So, I strongly advise, if people are coming to the South Australia event, maybe don't bring your kids, because it is quite disturbing. But if we don't talk about it, it's going to keep getting worse, and it will visit our kids. And so, look, this is about information. I don't want to spoil the audience too much, Angela, because you're a wealth of knowledge. But we will be recording these to make them available after the fact. But we do actually want to get as many people there in person so that we can hear from the community. And Angela, you've been doing some phenomenal work, and a lot of groups have been rallying. They want to associate with you. They want to set up stalls outside the actual event. And I fully take my hat off to you for organizing this event. It's my pleasure to partner with you, as with Turning Point Australia stuff. But this is stuff that a lot of the media aren't touching, and we really need to chat more about. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart. Can I ask, on a personal level, what is it that drives you? Why do you do it? Because you're a mother of 3, right?
Yeah. Yes. So initially, for a couple of years, I homeschooled my girls, and I went into my library and borrowed some books. And on the full front display, there were those pornographic books for children, those sex instruction books. And it started there with a council speech, and I got a lot of pushback, every level or tier of pushback, and it just drove my motivation. I still have that petition. I've got 5,000 signatures. We have to do it on paper in South Australia, so it's taking longer, but it's actually given me the skills, because I'm so determined to get that 10,000 signatures. But the amount of pushback is surprising. You think you show someone or enforcement pornographic books, and it should be they'll do something about it, and they're not. And plus, with my own girls, what they've experienced in public schooling has a few little red flags, and I was able to pull them out on a personal level. I won't talk too much about that, but I personally have spoken back to the schools in the most polite way possible. I've been on the school board, I've been on governing council, so I know how they operate. And I've also volunteered in the school library, so I understand the cataloguing system and how that works. So, you know, I've got my own personal motivation, but I generally, as a mum, I care about the community that we live in and the world that our children are growing up in. I want to see them, you know, future grandchildren. I want to see them live in a world where we're free from all this, or because what's in these books would never be allowed in videos and games. Last year, I became an accredited classifier for film and games. A window of opportunity came. I did the course. And so my passion is around classification and looking at teacher resources and the classification for their videos. I won't give away too much, but that's my focus on the event. I'll be focused on teacher resources and classification in general. Rachel Reid is a mum from regional South Australia. She'll be talking a lot about the school curriculum and what's happening in schools. We marry up very well with our information. We complement each other very well on that. So that, and parents will be given an opportunity to have Q&A at the end, and we'll give out information on how to proceed and how to tackle the schools and how to ask and how to approach, because I think a lot of parents find it very difficult to have the courage, because they trust so much in educators and principals. They're too scared to voice.
Can I say, having talked to a lot of parents, a lot of people in my audience about this, when we did those interviews and I showed certain people and they came up to me, I would always ask them this question: can I ask, was there an element of fear, anxiety, guilt, and like a rush to actually find out how much damage has been done to my child? And they always say yes, because they feel that we never used to have both parents in the workforce full time, or even one full time, one part time, but we have now, and as a result, we've given our children to the state. We've given our children to childcare, and we barely engage in their education compared to what it used to be maybe 50 years ago. And the real problem with that is when we outsource it, is now we have this enormous guilt. Maybe I'm inept. I should have done more. And that's the thing. It's a lot of parents that have that guilt, and we need to help them get over that and be like, it's okay. It's not your fault. You've been snookered from the system, but this is how you can tangibly fight back. And that's what these information evenings are about. You know my thoughts on this, Angela. We need this in every state, but we are going to do this trial run in South Australia, see how it goes. I really think it's a phenomenal initiative that you've spearheaded. Please bring the petition. I think we can get a few more hundred signatures for the petition, so we can get it up to 10,000, did you say?
We need 10,000 signatures.
Awesome. But look, Angela, without further ado, if anyone wants to grab tickets, click the link in my bio, grab them. They're only $15. They're basically for free. You know, we do have, I do believe we have some food at the event. We want to take care of you for the night. It's from 7 to 9 p.m., but please arrive at 6:30 p.m. in Adelaide. And I will be recording it for the sake of other states, but if you're in Adelaide, please come out. Please come and network. Please make these things happen, because if you guys don't come out during these events, then unfortunately we can't put them on, because it costs money to actually bring the camera crew, get all this done. You know, these Zoom meetings are great, but there's nothing like having an in-person, authentic Q&A, because it actually gives Angela and I information about what families are seeing at their schools. We can't really get that from a comment section and from our emails, because we get so many emails. It's insane. So please come out to that event. We will see you out there. And Angela, I want to thank you so much. Sorry I have to pull you back before we give away too much details on this. But God bless you. I'm going to post this everywhere. And everyone, if you don't already follow Angela, feel free to click her in the description on Instagram. And Angela, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me
Now,
on.
God bless you.
I
God
look
bless you.
forward to
I'm looking
watching.
forward to seeing you next Thursday.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Joel.
Awesome. See you,
Thanks.
Angela. God bless. Have a good
See
one.
you.
Bye bye.